and the camera's right over by the live button there. Hello, we're on live, and I'm here. This is Laura Jane here with my friend Melody, painter, and we're in her gorgeous home. And sure, let's tag Melody in this. Yes, and we're here because I am, just loving doing this kind of thing as a way to share people that I am so lucky to be friends with and connected to and inspired by, and realizing that I can do that. So I was excited to realize that you're one of those people, that I see that Melody's doing really really unique and powerful work, and you're also, I see, like a successful businesswoman, right? Which I think is super cool, and I love that. So I wanted to share Melody with you all. So we're gonna sit and chat and see what happens, which is kind of fun about this format. I was telling Melody that we don't really have a plan, but it's just fun to drop in and see what we talk about. So welcome.
When you asked me, I was like, of course, I can take a sit with you and chat and just kind of inspire others to maybe make small changes and get more in tune, right, with their present life. Yeah.
And I think that's what I've noticed about you since I first met you, that you just have this grace about you, that even though you're a mom of 4 and running your own business and supporting other people with their businesses, right, as part of what you do, that so it's kind of like, what's like the magic behind what makes you like show up, to me, always seeming so graceful and present and appreciative and like purposeful with how you're doing your life and your time. I mean, has that been like a big evolution for you, or and are you really aware that you're consciously living your life in that way, or even coming off that way?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I don't know, kind of at a young age, I kind of had an awareness that some people just kind of live, and just unconsciously, almost like just robotically and just trying to survive and get through the day. And I just wanted to be more mindful and enjoy the moments, and when you see with 4 children, my oldest is 15 now and my youngest is 8, you just want to enjoy the present, because it's going to change. It's constantly changing.
So they really help you want to appreciate your moments more and be more who you want to be.
Definitely.
I've really appreciated that about motherhood. Right. Because you always hear that about how it's going to go so fast, and so I'm glad to have heard that, because it got me too to want to be present, and then to want to be present as the version of myself that is hopefully more aligned, right? It's been a big motivation for me. And I'm sure as they were like 5 or 10 years ago, when everybody was younger, it was even crazier and wilder, right? So
different stages of motherhood, definitely.
And so I know for me, just with 2, it was even hitting my own extremes, even though I was doing some things to take care of myself, to see how out of balance I could get if I wasn't doing my thing. Was so apparent. I mean, was that true for you too? Did you also have your like times where you really had to see how it looked when you weren't in your self-care?
Definitely. And it's just, I think just too, like, and I know you promote this, obviously, like making healthy choices. And trying to have a healthier lifestyle, I think also creates more, being more present as well. Because you're feeling your frequency is higher, and your vibrations are higher, and you can kind of manage more and enjoy it at the same time, instead of being so run down. And obviously it happens with motherhood.
How recent does it feel to you to become aware of it all as like vibration and energy? Is that like a recent awareness for you, or have you been aware of that for years and years and years?
Definitely the last several years. I think I've only been in the holistic world for about 7 years now. Kind of created my tribe, of amazing women that I've surrounded myself with, that have taught me these things. And that I've more have witnessed it just through their own actions, not necessarily that they lecture about it or they, but just witnessing it. But in that state of being in a positive mindset, I know things shift for me in a positive way around me. I get more opportunities, or I get, things that are aligning better. And then when you kind of get in that funk, or you're not taking self-care, and you're not, being present, you're kind of just barely getting by. You just, all of a sudden a year will go by and you're like, nothing really changed for you. And, kind of plateau with things, or things went downhill,
Yeah. And you do seem like someone who's very, I want to say, like, achievement oriented at the same time, which I mean as a compliment. So that's an interesting thing to blend with also showing up as present and peaceful and graceful, and being the kind of mom you want to be. Yeah, is that something that's been present for you for a long time? Just kind of this knowing that you want to be moving forward, and kind of being more goal oriented, and someone who's taking actions towards what you want, things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think, you can even get the mom guilt with that when you're trying to be successful on your own path. But it, of course, helps your children, and helps, life, or let your lifestyle, improve, or give them more opportunities, and, things like that with your success. So I've noticed that, could hold some women back of the mom guilt of, trying to achieve their own goals at the same time being a mom. But I think it's important that we realize that we're being good examples for our children. For them to do the same in their own life, even today, much less when they, become adults. So I think it's really important to show them that it's okay to put yourself first.
Right.
Sometimes,
Right. Because it's like nowadays, most of us are teaching our kids that, but then a lot of us still aren't really living it in the ways that matter, right? And then our kids notice it, unfortunately. They feel it when we're not, whether we're not taking care of ourselves, and if we're not moving forward towards things that are important to us, like, it's like, doesn't work for them or us to put it off, right? And think, oh, well, I'll make that important when they're older or something. Yeah. And I love that that they're learning from your example of how you're fitting in your business life and such. Yeah. And I know one of the big ways that you help people and teach people is with the essential oils, right? Which is something that's been on my list, like I think I tell you every time I see you, to learn more about. And I love that it's such a, I love how people are so open to it now more than ever. I get the sense, right? Like I've worked some of those holistic kind of health fairs with probably, I think, some of the people who work under you, right? And their tables are always, the doTERRA table is always so busy. And it's wonderful to see, because I think people more than ever are open to the magic of it. But it's also this beautiful thing I can see that you get to do for yourself and give to yourself. And I love that it's so natural. And then I love the idea that your kids could be learning about it along the way, right? So, how did that become part of your thing with essential oils? What was part of your story with that?
For me, I think I just, as a mom with young kids, so it was almost 7 years ago. So my youngest was 2, and 2 to 8 or whatever. And I was just looking for natural things to use in my home to take care of them. Like they would get the normal ear infections and the coughs and things like that. And I was just looking ways to be preventative mostly with that, so that we didn't have to get to the pediatrician, and sit in a petri dish of germs. You're just waiting. You're just like, oh no, my kid's gonna get more sick from that kid.
Right.
So just looking for natural options just to take care of my kids.
So that's
why it wasn't something to do as a business. It was just my girlfriend, who also was a mom of 4, had been doing an essential oil class, and was like, Melanie, this is it. This is something natural that's effective, and it's going to help us with our, with us wanting to help our kids in natural ways. And so she's like, you need to try it. So I did, and I tried, the ones that were for the respiratory issues, and the Breathe Blend and the On Guard, which helps with immunity. And so I put them on my kids, and in a couple of days, I just saw a big shift for them. And I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And then I just, obviously, just having, other mom friends that I knew were natural minded, They say about 73% of Americans are open to natural solutions. So whether it be, better home products, or that are going to be cleaner and less toxic, just to be able to have less toxins in and around us. Is going to be better for our long-term health. So when you can have a specific line that you trust, it makes it easier.
Right. And to just it is so timely, because I think, like you said, we realize the toxins that we get from the other ways we can address our ailments, and then even if they can help us maybe shift away from the pharmaceuticals, not that they don't serve their place, but because those two have their kind of toxic effects. And it's just, and I feel like it's so empowering too. It really, that you get to do it to yourself, for yourself, and it's such a meditation, right? It's really using so many elements of presence and bringing in your senses, right, and your focus, and energy wise too, right? It's obviously like its own energy medicine.
Yeah, it's a very high frequency matter that we have extracted from the plants, and it's all those healing components that are in our plants, already, are just in such a high concentrated, way, and an easy way, to have it in a bottle in your purse, so that's, but the healing components of it, and just with touch, I love that we can, like even my kids will ask for, there's this technique called an aroma touch technique, which my mom is here today visiting me.
We have.
She's like, can I have an aroma touch? I'm like, come over, Mom. So, it's 8 essential oils on the back and the bottoms of the feet, and it really just, it's therapeutic, obviously, with the essential oils, but just the taking your time to slow down and put your hands on someone you care about is therapeutic in itself. And just serving others, and being like, can I do this for you today? That in itself, I think we don't do that enough.
I never thought of that. Like, it's like relationship therapy, and then you could obviously do it to yourself too, right? And it's like such like tangible self-love. And then we do know that massage too, I'm such a fan of massage. I don't give it to myself nearly enough, but oh my gosh, it's so powerful and wonderful.
You can apply it to the bumps.
Amazing therapy for so many things. And then to really, it seems like this whole world is about really helping people bring it into their self-care, right? Not to be looking to other practitioners. You can go, but then to receive from, or even to bring it into family life, that you could be giving each other massages with oils. It's so beautiful.
It was super cute. Just a quick story. My niece was over, and she had gotten, she's 16, and she was a little emotional about certain family dynamics that was going on, and my son is 15. They're like 15 months apart. They were upstairs, and he was like consoling her, and then she came down, and it was time to leave, and we walked into the car or whatever. And Owen wanted to get a piggyback ride, which he's, a big football player. So I'm like, that's his thing. He thinks it's funny to get on my back. So he's on my back, and we're like walking back to the house, goofing off, and I smell oils on him. And I'm like, oh, and you smell like oils. Why do you smell like oils? He's like, is it frankincense? That's not frankincense. And because that's normally what he put on his face for his, he gets like football, the chin strap, the acne. So he puts frankincense on it. It helps him a lot. I'm like, that's not frankincense, but that's like the one I'm used to him smelling like. And he's like, oh, it's lavender, Mom. And I'm like, lavender? You have lavender on? He's like, well, it's on my hands because I was putting it on Jaden to make her feel better. And I was like, oh, here she's 15 and 16-year-olds, and he just knew, like, I have the oil sitting up there in the family den, and he just knew to go to them and to help her relax.
And just the consciousness, it's like, it's just actually reaching for something completely different, and just... And then that they're like giving that to their friends, it's so cool and exciting.
Because oftentimes you're just like, I don't know what I can do. Like I want to help you, but I don't know what to do to help. And those little bottles are just like, I can do this, and it's not going to hurt. It doesn't hurt to try. Like it's natural.
That's so cool.
But and it does. Like lavender, we know scientifically lowers the cortisol hormone in our body. That's just a stress hormone, which causes so many health issues. So just little.
It's such a beautiful way to. Stay on top of things too, right? Like to know, like I feel like we're so aware of like the stress thing, that we're all under stress, and I too am so into the idea of like what we could do with like I would say the oils are a form of yoga too, right? It's a way that we're reconnecting, and but other forms of yoga, like poses that can help us with managing stress and anxiety, for instance, or breath. And it's so fascinating to just consider what if we did more of that more like every day, just to kind of keep the stress levels down, even if we're in a stressful world, or even if we're in a stressful time in life. So same thing with that. Therapy is so beautiful. And then the idea of mixing the two, right, which you started to encourage me to do, I think, with the doing some oils while you're doing like a mat practice or anything that's meditation. But oh my gosh, I never thought of that, how it's a relationship thing, that it's something you can offer to someone else to help soothe. And it's so beautiful. It's so exciting. Wow. Yeah. And so like, what are your things you use right now with the oils and such? Do you have some daily things that you now have built in as part of your regular routine, or do you kind of just play it intuitively day to day, like what you find you want and need for yourself, as far as the use of the oils, for instance?
I would say like one of my newest, well, not newest, but I kind of go back and forth to using, and lately I have been, is putting eucalyptus in my shower.
Oh wow!
Like, I don't know.
How do you do that?
Like,
do you like put
just
it on the
I just
floor,
put it like on the edge to where it doesn't get washed away, but the steam of the shower.
Oh
so it's like this instant, like I'm in a spa, like at the spa, I'm in the steam room. So that feels
and
awesome.
it probably really
like,
takes care of your sinuses and your
helps with inflammation
and prevents a lot of things, I bet, right?
Yeah.
And just the idea that you're doing that for yourself, and that's
which
a
is
great one.
it's so interesting. You see it a lot on social media right now, like self-care. Like
luckily,
like in the last month or two, even it's just like
self-care. I think with the new year, right?
Yeah,
and that's like the consciousness,
really big,
which it is, because so many of us have seen how we feel and do when we don't do it, right? So that's like we've come to it honestly, you know, like, oh, Kim Summers says hi. Yeah, she's one of our love friends in between.
And that's just like, you know, in my shower.
Yes.
And then I use a natural skincare line that has the essential oils, and then it makes them even more effective, I believe.
Okay.
And it's nice to know that I'm putting things on my skin that are 100% natural.
I didn't even realize there were those. Okay.
Yeah.
And your skin always looks beautiful, so let's be working.
And then, you know, just if there is any kind of health issues with, you know, if I feel like something's going on with my tooth or something, I use clove or the on guard oil, and it helps like the pain a lot. Help you know, make it a little bit longer till the next dentist visit. Yeah. Which of course we need, you know, dentists, and we need medical professionals.
Yes, right.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Or,
so you still
necessary.
allow for that,
but to
avoid the trips to the practitioners.
Yeah.
And how have you found when you go? Have you talked about it with doctors when you have one of the doctors with it, one of your kids or yourself?
Yeah.
What have their attitudes been about the essential oils?
Unfortunately, most of the time they're not open because they haven't been educated. So they're like, if they don't know about them, then they're just like, they're not going to advise it, because then they can be held liable.
Okay, yeah.
So they're kind of, unless you go to a holistic doctor, which, you know, when I'm in my doTERRA realm, there's tons of them from all over the world, right? So I know they're open to it.
Okay.
You just have to keep sharing and seeing and finding the ones that are open. Often chiropractic, doctors are more open. Yes. Because they're kind of more in the natural, you know, wellness.
That makes sense. So they are practitioners who are recommending it.
Yes.
And I was just having another thought too, not the massage.
But even like my mom was like in the hospital for routine checkup, and they offered her lavender essential oil at St. Joseph. Like they're very, you know, they're becoming more and more open to the modern medicine.
And it seems like is it fairly safe most of the time, the ways that people are using them? Like, is it true that most people aren't having reactions to the general?
I honestly haven't had, I have over 5,000, you know, a tribe of over 5,000 individuals on my team.
Do you really? Oh my gosh, that's so
And in that, I don't get a lot of feedback of, you know, negative reactions, but I know that there are out there. I mean, there are people that are allergic to rosemary, or they are allergic to, physically allergic to cinnamon, you know, and so you definitely, but people, it seems to me that they already know it. Like, the essential oil isn't going to be their first exposure to that plant. Like, they've already had the exposure, so then they just stay away from it, and they let you know, I can't have that, or I don't.
And maybe that's a good reason to make sure they have someone like you as an educator with, and even to just discuss things with, right, as you're trying things and realizing. But that's amazing that you have 5,000. Is it all women? Or are there some men?
I would say. I have a couple of rocks. I have a couple guys. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Orange County Marketplace, swap meet there by the fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's a gentleman there by Charles. His name's Charles, and he's like the OC oil man, and he's on my team. he's a single man that's just rocking the oil business.
But that's a really amazing way to be serving too. To be like a
he
successful.
Puts wild orange in people's beer.
I mean, like that's great too. I love that.
There's like a whole mixology.
Oh man, I bet that could go a whole nother direction.
Yeah.
But you being a successful businesswoman who's also finding a way to. Like how your beau, Casey, said the other day, make breakfast for the kids every day still, right? So that's, congratulations on that. And thank you for being a woman in the world who's modeling that, right? Finding the balance with finding
that's
a
what
way
honestly I
to
love
do
about
both.
this business model is it allows you to do that.
Yeah. It seems like it is such a great business model. And it's interesting how it's gotten it used to have such a bad rap, right? Because it really is one of those where everybody wins. It's so cooperative, right? And it's like, and if it's something that you're excited about, it's like, it really makes sense. I think it's a more evolved business model than a lot of other styles, right? What's the current name for it? Is it network marketing? Would that be the current name? Okay, yeah. It's weird that it for some reason had a bad rap, right? So for some reason,
I actually listened to a book about it, like the history of it
and the teamwork, right, and the support, and it's just like
companies back in the day.
And you get a lot of like training, right? Like I'm sure, like business training through it, or it's just it's like a lot of education on that level to do it. Yeah, so that's super. I love that that's become a trend and really has become a way for a lot of women. It seems like that company
it is definitely
one that's really helping more women. That's neat. Yeah, I hadn't really focused on that. But.
But you're allowed as a mom to make your own hours and kind of step up your game when you need to, and focus on your family when things are steady and it is. And I think because with doTERRA, it's the #1 essential oil company in the world.
Yeah, right.
So it's like
with someone who's doing
very
it well,
substantial.
so that makes sense that you can be proud of it too. And I'm thinking about like one of the things I learned through. Do you know Monique Halm, who is she does work with Kim Summers too, but she teaches a lot about women and wealth, and she's blending in even like intuition and doing things in a more feminine way. And one of the things she brings up is we now know. And so I think she teaches that like women together is a good thing, and that like we really thrive when we get together with other women, and that even now we know we secrete oxytocin just like when we breastfeed. That is we also, or I'm not sure if secrete's the right way to describe it, but same thing. It comes out in our bodies just like when we're breastfeeding when we're with other women. So I'm realizing with that kind of thing, right? When you're on these team meetings with all these women are also getting that experience too, right? They're getting that oxytocin thing, which is, we now know actually helps us women to be more successful, to like embrace this sisterhood is really good for us.
Right.
And that being with other women feeds us like literally chemically, right? So that's cool.
And we should be supporting each other instead of competing with each other.
Totally.
And this business model does that as well.
Right. That it's like,
I've actually had one of the girls on my team. She kind of was like out of competitive mode with me, and she's like, "I'm going to hit this certain level before you," and I was like, "You go, girl! Like that'll be
like
awesome.
That's only going to be great for me too."
Yeah, exactly. I will support you and be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
you
get to kind of like hold the grace through. Because we all. It's interesting that we all have that old training, right, with ourselves and other women, and even business. Yeah, so that's cool. And then I do want to hear more about, like, I know you and I have bonded that we both love journaling, right, as one of our practices. Is that something that you do most days right now, or something?
Yeah, actually, I just I've loved it when we've done our meditation walks, and you've encouraged us, and it's been very kind of just realigning in that day, just be, where am I at, what comes to me, and it's always love, like it's just pure love that comes out, like no judgment, just whatever, it just makes me feel good, like when we've done those practices together, and so it's been, I haven't been doing it on a daily basis though, and I've actually had like intuitive people that are like, they can kind of sit with you and know like what you need to do to get to your next level, or to kind of, be more present, and they've told me you need to journal, you need to write more, and I'm like, that just seems so like more than what I can handle in my daily life. It just seems too much. Like that's a great idea, I get it, but I don't know how I'm gonna make. Maybe I'll do it a couple days, but I don't know how I'll keep doing it. So I actually just saw this journal, and I was sharing it with you the other day, and it's called the 5-minute journal, and it's great because it's just, you write the date at the top.
Yeah.
It gives you an awesome little 2-sentence quote, and then it's, you know, what 3 things are you grateful for, and then what 3 things would make today great. So I think that's really cool to, because I mean, we can stay in gratitude and be grateful, but we also want to be open to what can we do. Like, it's action as well. It's not just mindfulness, it's action. So what can we do today that would make today great? And then it's an I am statement. So whatever it is you're trying to shift in your life, whether you're, you know, you are surrounded by love, or I'm more organized, or I am a certain rank at my company, or I have, you know, 10 new clients this month, or whatever it is that you want to have as your I am statement, then you write that. You can write the same thing every day, or change it. And then at the end, it's just what 3 great things happened today.
Great.
So oftentimes, hopefully, it's one of those, what would make today great. Hopefully you've done one of those things.
Ooh, interesting.
And you can kind of check yourself.
Yeah.
You know, on if you did those 3 things that would make today great.
Yeah. And that's a lovely way to kind of support yourself.
Yeah. And then the last one is what would have made it today better. So it's not all positive. You know, it's kind of
it's
like
even like proactive.
owning
so
it.
that one's like working
like I should
for
have
you.
yelled at my kids today, or you know, like I should have stayed more calm. You know. Whatever it is that you feel like you could have done better that day, and just owning it and writing it down. And so it's just 1 sheet a day.
Yeah.
And that I've been able to do. And it was actually pretty cool. At the beginning of it, it says, do this for 5 days, and write yourself like a note saying, if you don't do 5 days in a row, what are you gonna like? Well, how will you reward yourself? And if you don't do it, what will you do?
Yeah.
And so I know we haven't shared this yet, but I'm divorced, and so my thing was, if I didn't do it, I was gonna like pay my ex-husband like a certain amount of money. Like I was gonna write him a check just for the hell of it. And I was like, I don't want to give him any money.
Right.
We don't do any money exchange. We have 50% custody, and so I don't get, you know, alimony or child support or anything. But it was kind of a funny thing that I was like, you're gonna have to send him some money.
Yeah. So you have your ways.
And then I rewarded myself with a rocking chair on my back balcony. I've been I wanted this like 2-seater rocking bench, and so I told myself, if I did it, I'll get that little bench for my balcony.
Did you get the bench?
I've ordered it. Yeah.
I just remembered how much rocking, because I was sitting in a rocking chair in Idlewild at a cabin, and just remembering like rocking's really good for us, and more of us should be rocking these days. Right? Like it's such a meditation.
Yeah, just taking the time.
Yeah,
to sit.
I love that, and you could even show.
So this is the 5-minute journal. It's a beautiful like linen covered journal, and it's just, you know, 1 page a day.
I really like that combo, and that is a great combo of practices in the starting your day in gratitude and ending your day in gratitude, and looking forward at what you want to be. Great. Yeah. But I agree with you. Journaling's like that, where even if you just do it when you need it, it really works, right? And then it's fascinating to see how it like. My friend Fabian, who teaches a lot about journaling, will say how it like keeps you current with yourself, you know, which is kind of cool about keeping it more consistent. But yeah, that's amazing that you're fitting that in too. Yeah. And like I figured, I knew like 30 minutes would go easily and quickly. And not that we have to tie up immediately, but I mean, and anything else that you want to mention that you feel like is part of your daily things? I mean, I know I've given you some mat practices lately, so you're using some of that.
Right. But and that's been great. We did it yesterday. We did it again this morning.
Right, and I love that she's doing it with her boyfriend. And that's amazing. I love that. I just think that's so conscious and beautiful that you are doing this practice together, and even helping each other be accountable. But it's so, and that you do it with like your fireplace on, and really, it's so smart though, right? I mean, gosh, if more people were starting their days like that, much less more couples, I mean, that's amazing. Yeah.
Well, especially since we're doing it right when we wake up in the morning, getting out of bed. Like I'll do my journaling, you know, and then we, you know, lay out the mats, and we do our 20 minutes of yoga in the morning, and it's like, who better to hold you accountable than the person you're waking up next to? Like, you gotta get up, I'm gonna get up, you're gonna get up.
Seriously, it's really,
let's do this together. It's been really great.
And you really do have.
And he's brand new to yoga, so it was when you offered that, you know, coaching. She offered, I think it was at the end of the year, like as a gift, you know, that you could do a $300 3-month coaching session at that time. So that's what we had you do, and it was perfect because it was our anniversary. So I gave it to him as our anniversary. He's been saying, babe, I really want to start yoga. I really want to start yoga. But he's nervous to go into a yoga studio as a male, like never doing yoga.
Yeah. And it really has been a good fit, you know, with helping make sure it's all safe and
it feels comfortable, obviously, with just
a routine that works. But yeah, and I was glad that he watched the Don't Get Old video, right? Because he was one of the inspirations. Because I love him. He's so charming and adorable, and nothing at all old.
Yeah,
right?
no.
But yeah, that was when I was with you guys. That was what inspired that one.
Yeah.
And I know you also love nature and things. Like you seem to make it a point to do things like that as part of.
Yeah, I love that we're right here. We just moved here in June, but we're down here by the wetlands, and I love going on walks out there. And, you know, being in Orange County, you know, we're kind of in the concrete jungle, and we have the beach there, but we don't always go and enjoy it. But just having it, those walks in the wetlands, I encourage anyone that's in this area to go do that. It's awesome to you have a lot of clarity when you can get out in nature, whether it's just sit on the beach for 30 minutes, you know.
And then I guess you and I share a love of walking. I guess we probably realize, right?
Yeah.
Walking and nature. But yeah, it can feel luxurious to fit that stuff in too. And so, I mean, again, amazing that you're a mom of 4, facilitating a team of 5,000, and in a happy partnership, and making time to get out in nature, right? So, yes, these are some of the reasons that I'm happy to share. And that's part of how you show up, like how you do. So, well, that's amazing. And like I feel like there's totally more we could talk about. So I don't know, maybe I could come another time and we can talk more, just because there's always more to talk about. But I love to also make sure people can connect with you if they want to. So they obviously through this Facebook will be able to find you, and we'll post some links. And like we talked about, you have a group. Tell me more. Like, what are some good ways that they might?
Yeah, so on Instagram,
stay connected to you.
I always, I use my Instagram for personal and for business. So if you don't mind that, I have, a football player and a very competitive skateboarder, Miles. He's, one of the top skateboarders in the world for his age. So he's pretty awesome to see me post on there about him. And then I have, my daughter and my little son Love, and all the different activities, and who I call my bonus kid, Seth, Casey's son. So anyway, it's our life, that you can watch, which is fun. But then I also, anytime I have a new essential oil, diffuser blend, or there's a special going on, I always share it there. One thing I do often share is that Aroma Touch class. Yes. So I'm an instructor in doTERRA to teach that class. So it's a 6-hour class.
I would love to come to that next year.
You would love it. So I always post when the next one is on there.
Is that something you do in person, or do you also do those online, or would it be?
No, it has to be in person. It's a technique that I show you how to hold your hands and how much pressure, and it doesn't take. It's easy, but it does take a little instruction. I bet
that would be really neat for teens too to learn, right? Oh my gosh.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to stay posted for that.
So a melody of wellness.
Of young people and myself who'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah. So a melody of wellness is my Instagram name.
Okay.
And then you guys can you can become friends here on Facebook, of course, and then I also have a Melody of Wellness business page on Facebook. And then this week, if anyone's interested, you can just comment below and I can add you to it. It's just an event for this week that the doTERRA is having their BOGO week, so it's buy one get one free. Okay. So today it's the cheer blend, which is like a happy uplifting blend. If you buy that, and I want to say it's under $20, you get the Motivate blend for free. So it's that one's, I love putting that one on before the gym or workout.
Oh my gosh, there's so many amazing oils. That's what I feel like would be cool to get to sit and learn from you more, is some of the ways some of those specific things work. Because with the mental health stuff, I can imagine that could be such an exciting approach for people to add, whether or not they're using pharmaceuticals, right? Like it's just another way to help yourself feel better, right? In so many ways. So exciting.
Just smelling different smells. I mean, we just know it changes our emotions just normally, whether it's baked bread or, wild orange or,
It really runs deep, right?
It can help change.
And then to combine it with the massage, again, is just, I can imagine, really powerful. And I love that it's about you're learning how to do it to yourself and others when you would come take this class, right? Right. You would then.
It's mostly for others because it's a technique you have to do on the back and the bottom.
Okay, so it would be tricky to get yourself.
Yeah, so but if you could do it for someone and be like, okay, now they could try to do it on you. Like, you'd switch off is what Casey and I do. But, we also do a hand technique in that class as well, which you can do that for yourself.
Okay, yeah.
I've actually helped 2 different individuals years apart on an airplane with that hand technique because they were having respiratory distress on the plane, and the doctors couldn't help them, and I was able to help them. So.
That's so funny. I just posted it on, and it's one of these, like, that might be a little inflammatory, but that just because your doctor says they can't fix it doesn't mean it can't be fixed. Just because we're in that time now where, because a lot of us started to think, as much as we love our doctors and they're amazing and we need them, but sometimes it feels like, well, if they can't fix it, nobody can. And it's not necessarily true anymore, right? And so that's interesting.
Well, it was interesting because both times on the airplane, I mean, the doctor was there. They stood up and went to help. And of course, I'm not going to stand up before my practitioner. I let them try. But they don't have any tool. I mean, they're listening to the heartbeat, and they've got an oxygen tank on these people. But what else are they going to do for them?
Right.
And this one man was like completely like unconscious.
Wow.
And I got him to wake up and
Holy cow.
breathe deeply. And,
Jeez. I can imagine that the therapy with those oils is going to just only get deeper and get more expansive in these coming years, right? We're probably going to see a lot of growth.
But at the same time, I think the oils obviously are amazing and they help as well, but it's aligned with that touch, right? For me taking his hands and praying for him and giving him my energy of love, like pure love for this stranger and a way to do that for him, as well, so along with the oils.
A lot going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds so exciting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm forward to hearing more about that. All right. I guess we could wrap up. Okay. But thank you all for being with us here in Huntington Beach. And this is Melody. Thanks for being with us. Super fun. And really appreciate it. All right, you guys. Namaste.